Welcome to the OTP podcast, where we are bringing you the uncensored, unfiltered conversations. I'm your host, O, joined by my co-host, Chinny and Mr. Y. How you guys doing?
Right, all good, boy. I'm blessed, bro. No football, no stress this weekend. Just sit back as a neutral. You know what I mean? Kick back. You know what I'm saying? See the rest of the teams do what they got to do. And yeah, man, it's been a decent week for me.
Chinny?
Same, bro. Same. It's life as an Arsenal fan right now. I've just been watching my boys chilling at the bay, catching some sun, getting some rest. We're hoping that they come back this weekend full of fire, ready to go. They've eaten some nice food and they're chilling. Yeah, man. It's good to have Mr. Y back.
I don't know. We should be talking about food after, you know what I mean? All them Salt Bay pictures surfaced online, bro.
Hey,
I don't know that should be the topic of conversation right now.
That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, you know. Certain man's it can never be my manager. That's all I know. Can never be my manager. My manager's doing them. What's that cycle thing? Is it what's that bike called? Is it
the Paddington?
Yeah, he's doing them adverts. You know what I'm saying? That's what Klopp's doing. I don't know about this.
Man just got his neck back.
And it was like, what's wrong with that? He's not wrong with man.
That's 10 bodies, bro. That's 10 bodies.
You know what, bro? In his defense, he's comfortable with his own skin in it. That's how I'm going to try and spin it, bro. Man's comfortable in it. Man knows who he is, in it. You know what I'm saying to you? If them things they resonate with you for a reason. That's the way we're looking at it.
Do you know what I realized? I always load this show in, yeah, and I'm always like, boom, how you guys feel? No one ever says, how are you, oh? How are you? What's going on?
We don't care, bro.
No one cares, bro.
We'll ask you how you are when the team ain't top.
Yeah.
I understand. You know they say it gets lonely at the top? It doesn't. But again, this is just for pure banter vibes because I know when the scheduling be scheduling. I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just joking. But I'm well. Thank you for asking. Even though no one cares. I did the same thing.
If I was you, boy, you see that chest, that inflated chest you got right now? It should be slightly deflated, in it, because you know what I'm saying to you. We saw what happened on the weekend, innit? So you know what I'm saying to you, just remembering it calmer, because
I've always said the City's to win. I ain't playing with that.
Might as well go straight in on that, bro.
Exactly. So KDB is back as he leads City's comeback at Newcastle. I'm gonna point this at Chinny. What are you thinking?
Bro, Tony's come back with a new trim. He's got long hair and that. He's looking like a new man. How long has he been out for? Like 6-7 months. He's probably got a new tattoo. He might have all had a new kid in that time. He is ready to go. This must have knocked off at least a year of his footballing age, bro. Because he has been absolutely chilling. They haven't rushed him back, and he's got assists. Like he's ready. He's playing half a season. He's fresh as a daisy. No international matches. He is fresh. It's scary hours.
That's also annoying because he like we all know everyone says it. Oh, when KDB comes back, you know, blah 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 blah, and he's just proved it. And when you watch that game, you're like, oh, Newcastle, they can do something here. And then he comes on, and he just dictates, run it, just like I'm back.
Imagine, I was out on Saturday, in my thing, eating dinner. I checked the scores. I was like, 2-1 Newcastle, 20 minutes left. I didn't even touch the phone until after again. I come back after dinner's done. Was that 3-2? What? It's sad, man. It's sad. I mean, we were warned, man. We were warned.
Bro, I've been screaming it, bro. I said, listen, whoever wants to win this title from the outsiders, yeah, who ain't City, need a buffer, bro. You need a gap. City went, World Cup Championship. So we're going to have a little break. There was your time to build up a little gap. And no one built up that gap. And now he's back, bro.
But even if you go back to the gaps they have had and still won the league, it's crazy when you think about it. What type of gap do you need to like...
Bro, but it's the type of gap that you lot built. Because the one time that you lot built a significant gap, it was so demoralizing they couldn't claw it back. And that's the difference. You see what I'm trying to say to you? So had you been, I don't know, 9-10 points ahead, then you're looking at a place where you're moving into the second half of the season feeling like, even if I drop some points, I still have that buffer there. And they have to come Anfield. Or they have to come Emirates. Do you see what I'm trying? No, well, we've been Emirates, but we still got to play them. Do you see what I'm trying to say to you? Like, that is what you've got in the back of your mind. But now, you're thinking, what? How many points is it once they play the game in hand?
I think they're only like 3 points.
3 points? There you go.
Yeah, they're not far off.
Scary hours, man.
It's scary hours.
It's 2 points. That was it. It's 2 points.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's right. 2 points.
Obviously, that's one of the games. We've played 20. They've played 20. You guys played 20. Obviously, you're on 40 points. They're on 43. We're on 45.
And there it goes, man. So it's scary, man. And obviously, like that game again for me just highlights how essential it is having like a superstar player, isn't it? Like superstar quality, like world class game changer, bro. Like, you know, I'm trying to say to you, like even the first goal, bro, like man just moves into that nice little pocket of space, drives at the defense. I mean, and then just would like, and it's not even like a usual way you'd strike the ball, like when you're running at that angle, like from his instep. And it's through the legs of Shah. Like that was just class, bro. And that's what it is, man. Like, and you could see, like, as soon as he came on, fear factor. Defense was shook. Yeah, they were shook. They were backing off, man. They didn't want to engage because they knew if they engage, release holding on the flank. Right?
Everything was so direct, man.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Bro, and even like the way he was overlapping, underlapping, and just like starting spamming the crosses, bro. Like the low crosses that just give defenders trouble because they can't sort out their feet, bro. And it's just as soon as it came, it was ominous, bro. And then obviously the second, like the vision, bro, and the ability to pick out that pass from deep. And boy, like shout out Oscar Bob because obviously, I mean, first Premier League goal. The feet, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? FIFA, they call that what La Croquette. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah. The La Croquette, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? Pass the keeper and tap it in, bro. You know what I'm trying to say to you? To have that composure. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, composure, bro. Like,
you know what one of the most annoying things about De Bruyne is here? It's like, you know, usually you're told, okay, no one's as great on as good on their other foot as they are on their most predominant foot. So you're like, okay, show him on his left. Same thing on his left. All right, cool. But like this, you can't. His physical presence as well is proved so much. His mental is he's one step ahead of you all the time. Like if he's mentally, he's there. He's done it before he's physically done it, and that's one of the things about him. And like I said, left foot, right foot, he'll make the same pass like with ease. Same. Like he's just the perfect player to you want to play behind you.
You know what is with him, brother? He's not fancy, bro. He's not fancy. Everything he does, yeah, it sounds mad. It's simple and effective.
With purpose. The thing he does is, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to affect the game in an attacking way. And it's just so much purpose. If he gets one wrong, you don't care. He's doing it again and again and again until that wall is knocked down.
He's mastered the art of simplicity. You know, like bare man, you see like aesthetic. You want to step over. You want a little shimmy. You want something. He don't have none of that. He'll see the space. Man will just move and drive into that space. He'll run down the wing. He'll just say, all right, time to just slap a cross in. Yeah, don't matter. If they look pretty, don't look pretty. That's what I'm doing. He'll do whatever he can to affect the game. And for me, he's a world-class attacker. I know people, this is one of the gripes I've been having. I keep hearing people put him into, you know, like, for me, he's going to be an all-time Prem great. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's a traditional midfielder. To me, he reminds me of what Kaka and them was. He's more of an attacker than he is a midfielder. Because when you look at midfielders and we look at traditionally, I don't compare him to the likes of like we're talking in today's day of football, to a Modric, for instance, to a Xavi, to an Iniesta.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't impact the game in different. He does his job, but he doesn't impact the game in different areas. Which was what obviously last season you saw. Rodri would impact the game from one area. Gundogan would impact the game from a deeper area, and then come on, and De Bruyne would do his thing. So he's definitely, like you said, he's more of a Kaka, one of them forward-thinking players. He's not an all-round player.
Yeah.
Very
so
good
when I keep hearing people say, "Oh, he's an all-time great midfielder," and they put him up with like Gerrard's, and I'm like, "Yo, like, did you watch football, bro? Did Gerrard play in the positions, occupy the spaces that he occupied for 90 minutes straight?" De Bruyne's aim is to just destroy defenses. That's the only thing on his mind, bro. Yeah, it's to go in, bro. Like again, man with vision, bro. It's to go in and destroy, seek and destroy. You know what I'm saying? Move like the American army, bro. Where's the weak spot?
Pep probably said to De Bruyne, yo, what striker do you want up there? Because we need to win. What does the striker you need? What attributes do you need? Because we saying you don't like Jesus no more, right? Kick him to the side. What, Sterling's dead now? He ain't making them run for you no more. Sterling can go. De Bruyne said, yeah, man, I need some legs outside. I need someone to slow the ball down for me, Jack Grealish on the side there. I need a machine up front, a robot, like a big Terminator done up top. And Pep said, all right, cool, I got you, man. What else do you need? He's the heartbeat of their forward line. Obviously, they can still win because they're a great team. They can still attack. There's different ways to win. But when he plays, he makes it a lot easier for every other attacking player in that team.
De Bruyne is a secret weapon, bro. He is what the US military use to go into countries and break it up, bro. That's the kind of player he is, bro. He'll go in and just find the impenetrable. He'll go and find the weak spots, and he will make it clear to everybody, and he will expose it. And that's what he does. And I think it's scary as well because we ain't even seen the best of Haaland this year. No one has been able to feed Haaland the way that someone like Haaland thrives off. And I've always thought Haaland would be somebody that traditionally would thrive probably better in a Jurgen Klopp side than he would a City side, because City's build up is so slow, it's so controlled, and there's less space and there's less vertical in the way they attack. When you bring De Bruyne into that, he creates that. He gives City that. And now that he's back, once Haaland comes back, bro, scary hours, bro. Scary hours. And this is what I've been dreading, bro. It's what I've been dreading.
Looking at that game, let's shift our focus on to Newcastle. What positives are you taking out that game?
Isak, Gordon. I think Gordon's had a sensational season. I think he scored against Arsenal. I think he scored at Liverpool, City, right? He's finally getting numbers off that left flank, and he's a problem, man. He's a problem, and he's.
It's funny that you said that because obviously, yeah, I agree that Gordon's had a good season, and that comes off the back of the under-21s championships. But all his goals or the games that he impacts more are in the big games, but specifically because big teams will play against Newcastle.
Yeah, they
will actually come to play, which means Gordon obviously is really fast, likes to beat the offside trap, and for me that helps him a lot.
No, definitely.
Whenever he gets a lower block, I know Harvey Barnes is injured, but I was thinking, for me, Harvey Barnes is a better player than Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also hard to say as well because obviously Gordon's sample size has been a lot smaller. I mean, obviously he was at Everton, which in reality, when we really think about it, they're not really a team that attack, right? They're always on the back foot.
Yeah.
So it's always difficult from that perspective.
Well, I thought Isak he's been really good as well. Obviously, there's shouts about him going to Arsenal. There were shouts obviously before, but yeah, he was really good. Caused them a lot of problems as well. Compared to the reverse fixture, where Man City totally dominated, it looked like a completely different kind of game. So that was a good thing to see. But I mean, when you're 2-1 up with 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go against Man City, you should be taking at least a point.
I disagree, bro, man. Because if you watch that whole second half, it was ominous. Like the way, and this is one thing you've got to respect Pep and you've got to respect City is the way in which they were able to literally control that entire second half. Right, they had Newcastle pinned, and Newcastle couldn't get out. That first half, it was a bit of a back and forth. Although City controlled and had their moments, Newcastle also had so many moments on that break. Right, and in the second half, there was nothing, and they had the game in a stranglehold. And you're watching it and you're thinking, boy, it might be one of them games for City. And then KDB comes on and you're like, it's like the whole vibe just changed.
When you get to the last 20, you're like, yo, you just got to hold on it.
I hear you, but if you can't alleviate any pressure, right?
Ain't that down? We always talk about in-game tactics. So you've gone into the second half, you're getting absolutely peppered. You can see goals are coming. Do you think the manager made any in-game tactics that should have been done, or do you think he just basically stand on his morals, was like we can hold off, or like, because there are obviously we speak a lot, especially Mr. White, about Klopp and his in-game tactics and in-game changes and adjustments and whatnot. So let's analyze.
All right, from that perspective, I also feel that when you look at tactics are also limited to who you can bring on and personnel that you can use to affect the game. And when you look at how Newcastle are injury stricken at the moment, there isn't much ways in which they can change the game, right? So yes, tactically, there might be small tactical tweaks you can do on the pitch, but in terms of being able to especially bring on legs, because that's what they needed. They needed somebody else to come on who was fresh, that can offer them an outlet, because they were sat in their half for the entire 45. So that is where, you know, I have some sympathy for the likes of Eddie Howe, because obviously there isn't that ability to go to your bench and be like, come on, give me this. Come on, Jolinton, give me this. Come on, this person. You see what I'm trying to say to you?
No, I hear that. Defensively, they could have had Lascelles on the bench.
Bro, come on, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. You've got to work with what you have. Like their back four started with what's like, you know, Burn, Botman and Trippier. That's their normal back four. By their goalkeeper, who at 10 minutes in 2-1. Then obviously they've got Bruno. They had Lewis playing and Longstaff. Okay, that's not a strong. Whether they had Gordon, Isaac, and Almiron playing, but they also had Richie, who is known to play in that back five and play out wide, where they could have moved into a back five and played that way. They also had Lascelles and that. That's saying. So I felt like, for me personally, I'm not a manager, but I feel like they could have been that shift into back five. I didn't watch the rest of the game, so but when I looked at it, I didn't see
the way Man City were controlling the game. And obviously they were bombarding the box. It was very low and a deep low block against Man City. Like, you're just basically there suffering.
Yeah, I would went into a back five.
If you want to be there suffering, you might as well put your best defensive players on there to suffer.
I hear it, but also at the same time, I'd also argue that what they really needed is an outlet, right? As opposed to going, they don't play in that type of football, right? Which is going to a back five. And we talk about Richie, but Richie's been scarcely used, and he's only really being called on to. Richie has, in the last season, he has.
No, I know, I hear you, but you said they need a source. But that 2-1 with 10 minutes to go, you don't bring on another attacker.
No, I hear you, but I'm saying to you, at the same time, you also bring on players that are comfortable on the ball.
That's what I'm saying, but they have a centre-back who knows a centre-back on the bench.
But I'm talking about being comfortable on the ball, because that is the way you're going to get out of the press. Because City are pinch you in. You need in
the last 10, 15 minutes, maybe it's not really getting out of the press. Maybe it's just making sure that they don't come through you.
I hear you, but fair enough. I mean, look,
personally, I would have gone with bringing another centre back on, or bring in Richie on, who's known to play in a back five on out wide and do that role. So I feel like there were options to adjust to being peppered. Obviously, it didn't work out, and the manager's chance. Then you got to take chances. You got to be brave. But at 2-1 and you're getting peppered the whole 45 minutes of the second half, I would have thought those would have been the first subs that would have came on.
I mean, I think in hindsight, it's always a lot easier. I mean, when you're looking at the game as well, I think when you saw that first half and the amount of...
I mean, can you say hindsight? 45 minutes, you're getting peppered, and you stayed with the back four, and you didn't think, okay, let me, last 10 minutes, oh my God, it's 2-1, last 10 minutes, let me bring another defender. Or so I don't know if this particular is. I know it's easier in hindsight, but I don't know if this particular.
But let me land right, because watch this here. That first half, they defended very well, and they also were able to cause issues on the counter, and there'd be space. And if you look at it right, traditionally speaking as well, if City had failed for another 10 minutes to not score, right, then there would have been more players going forward, and there would have been more space on the counter. So you're playing, you know what I mean? It's roulette. You're playing.
Well, we ain't trying to score. We ain't trying to score again. We're trying to hold.
The best. No, but I'm saying. No,
but definitely trying to score again.
But when you think about it, right, the way the game was going and the amount of pressure that was being sustained, the likelihood is if you're able to hold out, kind of like a West Ham, right, against Arsenal, if you stay defensively compact, you and the team continue to throw people forward, there will be more gaps open. And for those type of players, you have up front like Isak and Gordon's and Almirons and whoever was still on the pitch at that moment, then they can exploit that space. So,
not your question. 10 minutes to go, 2-1 down. Dash your subs. What are you doing?
2-1 down, 2-1 up.
2-1 up, sorry.
I'm going Arteta. Bro, we used to throw
I'm going
up.
back 5.
We threw up Holding on last year to see out a game. We weren't trying to score again. We were trying to say, yo, just lock up shop, and we're good here.
And Eddie Howe is with his
I'll keep it 100, yeah.
Back 5 playing people out. I thought he would have reverted to some old ways there, but so what would you do?
If it was a bar fight, I would have bought on Jamal Lascelles, yeah, but it's not, bro. So he would have stayed on that bench, bro. For me, bro, he ain't coming onto that pitch. You know what I'm saying to you, bro. If it's someone to back me in the club, cool, he's coming on, bro. But nah, not on the pitch, bro. Not on the pitch, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying to you, that is, nah.
So,
and I respect it anyways. Like, and you know, like again, you take risks in it. And if you're trying, especially if you're trying to win, like remember they've been on a poor run.
Newcastle would have taken a draw going into that game, right?
You would have taken a draw, of course.
So when you're winning with 2-1 with 20 minutes to go, and you're saying, I would have taken a draw.
I'm thinking, I'm shutting up shop, mate. I'm throwing every defender on.
The way they're pressuring me, they might score. So if they do score, I would have taken that draw anyway. So we'll just make sure it's a draw. To go and lose that game is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man.
If that was Arsenal that lost that game, and you'd been like, oh, why didn't you throw on Tomiyasu to see out the game? That's what you'd be saying. You're not saying, go put on Zinchenko so he can pass it around against a good team.
But also, I'm also looking at the context of who's available, right? Because if you gave me his whole, his whole bench, right, and all the riches, well, not to say riches, but their depth that they have to work with usually, then that's a whole different debate. But for me, this is not the plays that he would want to call on. For me, if he had the likes of a Willock, another runner, another presser,
Lascelles is their club captain, bro.
Yeah, he's only their captain because he's been there for long, bro. You
can't trust your club captain to do a job. Who can you trust?
Bro, it's like I would have even like another player they would have probably brought on in that game is someone like a Jacob Murphy, right? He was injured, if I'm not mistaken. Another player, right?
No, he was there. He was on the bench.
Was he on the bench?
Yeah,
he just comes from an injury.
No, yeah, he did come back, but he's on the bench.
He's had a shoulder injury a few times, so probably they don't want to rush him back.
If you're on the bench, 2-1, 10 minutes, he can play.
You see what I'm trying to say to you? But like, these are the players that they would wish to be able to call on. And I said before, I don't really like. Obviously, I have my own gripe with Newcastle because what happened in our game.
No, I'm wrong. Sorry, he wasn't there. Sorry.
Okay, see, information, man, fake news.
I saw Murphy. It was Alex.
False. Actually,
I saw Murphy. It was Alex. Sorry.
There you go. I'm trying to say to you. So, like, these are the players that you'd probably want him. Like,
so that's more reason to bring in a defender.
For you, bro. But I've always
you said if it was Arsenal playing, you agreed. You'd be bringing on.
Yeah, but the defender we're bringing on is Tomiyasu, not Lascelles.
But we used to bring on Holden last year. You're telling me you weren't happy to see him come on to see out the game?
Well, but in my life, I've never been happy to see Holden come on.
No matter what.
When Holden was coming on, we was wrapping up shop, bro. When we went to
I used to laugh. Yeah, I used to die with laughter when Holden used to come on. I used to think, this is hilarious. I never used to. There was no joy in my heart when he came on.
But you were satisfied to know that whenever he comes on and we go to that back fight, we don't look like we're going to concede.
Listen, I was satisfied to know that this is what the manager wants to do. But guess what? If it didn't work, I would be criticizing because I know what Holden is, bro. For years, he showed me who he is, bro. Believe a snake to be a snake. Yeah, that's the way I look at it, right? You are who you are. If you're shit, you are shit. You will show me 100 million times you are shit. Yeah, and that is what Holden is. So for me, he came on. I'd be like, yeah, you done your job, well done. You did what you got to do. But I ain't buying into it, bro. I know who you are, bro. I know who you are, and you're cool. And you are trash, bro. And you've gone to Palace, and you still can't get it.
You're not asking yourselves to come on and be a player. You're asking him to come on and clear the ball. That is it. Pick up your man, head crosses, and clear the ball.
You know what?
When the boy crosses the ball on the floor, there's no head in the cross, bro. Yeah, them you ain't got the feet for them.
I've seen John Reeser do that. Remember, I never forget that when Reeser did that. I was like, why wouldn't you just kick the ball? I don't get it. But moving on swiftly to the next subject because we're talking about another injury stricken team. we was able to see Ten Hag fails to beat injury-stricken Tottenham in a 2-2 draw. What's your talking points on that? What was your main standout? Let's start with United, your favorite team, Mr. White.
My favorite team? No.
Your favorite team to discuss outside of Arsenal.
I know Mr. White got Onana Stan account, bro, and the 10 Hag bro. Man's just
listen, I still believe. Listen, right? Look, and I'm going to say this to you now. Yeah, I think with especially looking at how the season has panned out so far for United, right? I mean, looking at it back, I think the goals that I set out for United this season were more than fair. Because if you look at it, you can see how hard you can have a good season, or you can have good moments in a season. And a lot of teams underperformed as well. You had the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, etc. But I said the main thing for United should be to consolidate what they did last year. It can't just be a one and done, right? And also establish a style of play and obviously try and get some sort of trophy, right? Because I knew the league was not capable. They didn't have nothing set there. And obviously they haven't done none of that. So it weren't me trying to I was just, because I saw how our rebuild went at Arsenal, and I was just trying to be like, when I could see why it took longer than others, I didn't want to sit here and just be like, oh yeah, cool. And just be, the same way I was criticizing people that couldn't see that fast behind. I don't want to be the same person now trying to criticize it because it's not my team. I tried to be fair with it. And with United, do you know what I mean? There's still a moments team. And for me, there's no patterns of play. You know what I mean? The midfield is like a bunch of randoms. You just go to goals and you say, yo, I want you, are you free to play, you free to play, you free to play? All right, cool. And they've all come together to kick ball. Right, that's how it feels like. Yeah, because if you look at the distances between Mainu, who looks a talented player, and you look at with the gap between him and Eriksen, and it's just, and Bruno, there's no cohesion, there's no understanding, yeah, and that is the most damning thing you can say after 18 months of management, yeah, and I've been saying, serious questions need to be asked of Ten Hag, because this is what you're supposed to be doing, is coaching your team. Your team should be a representation of you. They should know what you want. They should understand how you want to play, how to defend, how to attack. And even the goals they scored, it's all about individual qualities, nothing to do with the setup, right?
I was going to say, yeah.
Patterns of play, it's not to do with,
he did kind of talk about some tactics after the game. I watched his interview after the game, and they asked him about, he said he's working with his midfield three, and obviously he's got Casemiro just coming back, who's obviously a mainstay in there. So obviously Bruno's a mainstay, and it's just who else plays in there. Right now they got Kobe Mainoo, they got Eriksen, they got Scott McTominay, all rambling around. And the interviewer asked him, what, do you want to keep the ball basically? What kind of play are you trying to do? And he answered it by saying, we're Man United, sometimes we don't need to keep the ball. We have Rashford, we have Garnacho, and then we sit back and we can use their pace. And that was his answer. I promise you, I watched it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I just think
he basically said, man can we're happy to play counter-attack football.
No, but again, let me. I always say this, right? I'm gonna put it in the most simplest metaphor I can. If you're a builder, yeah, right, or no, you know what? Yeah, you're a builder, right? And you show me you build kitchens, right? Or you build, I don't know, whatever you build, right? I'm not gonna go and ask you to come and fix my car now, right? You're gonna be bought to do the work you did before, the same way you did it. That is what I'm hiring you on. He was bought to play the football that got him to United at Ajax. That is why they bought him there. So if that's the case, yeah, then he needs to be sacked with immediate effect. That is fact, yeah. Because I've asked you to do a certain job, yeah, and you're now doing the next job. You're supposed to be working in my bathroom, and you're working in my car now, yeah. And my bathroom still looks like shit, yeah, because it's all everything's broken apart. I'm scratching my head, bro. I'm like, bro, this is not the job that I've handed you, bro. I saw all your work. I was like, no, that bathroom looks lit. The lighting, the tiles, this, that. And then all of a sudden, man's underneath the hood asking for oil. What's this, bro?
You know what? But to do that in that team, first of all, you got man like Rashford, yeah, who a lot of the play, it goes through, innit? So if you want to do that tiki-taka, ball work stuff, you can't really have the the way Bruno plays, who's obviously they're key players. So there's some other players that can play ball, but their key players are not ball players. And I think that is a major issue. Your like center points in your team need to be able to adapt to your play your philosophy. And their center points can't do that.
You know, yes and no, because yes and no, because I think right, if you had a good enough manager, you could basically try and do what Pep does in the sense of use Bruno as just an attacker, right? Which again, to me, he's an attacker. He's not a midfielder. He's basically he's an attacker. He contributes in the attacking phase of football, just like we were talking about KDB a second ago, right? So you could do that as well. You could build the rest of the team to be able to play the football that you want to play, and these players are then have certain select jobs within the squad. So I don't adhere to that belief.
The squad is not good enough to do that.
Right. And a lot of that goes down to his recruitment. A lot of these players that he signed, right, have not been good enough. Right. Casemiro is a world-class player, but was he the player at that price, at that age, at that wage to go
in what they needed? Was he that player?
Right. Was he going to be that player to be able to help to help him in the next 3 or 4 years and develop the type of football he wants to play? The answer to that is no. So
if they had Casemiro, and even then it's a bit, they needed Frankie de Jong. They needed that type of player who dictates the game, pass it backwards, forwards, pick it up, pass through the lines, can move with the ball. They needed that kind of player.
Well, not even necessarily. I wouldn't even say they needed that. I think even longevity-wise, like you've just signed a 30-year-old midfielder who's at the tail end of his career, and you sign him for what you'd say is big money to come in and be a staple in your team. But then he's not going to be there for a significant period of time to be a staple in your team. So even from that perspective, it's counterintuitive. It don't make sense to the long-term, vision of the club, right? Which no one seems to understand, right, from the outside. Anyways, so you look at the likes of Anthony, you look even this Amrabat. Like, how many signings has he made that you turn around and even like Martinez, who I think has been a good centre half, right, for them. He's a good player, but is he going to be a title-winning centre half? Because I always think there's a level of physicality required in the Premier League, a level of athleticism you need to be a centre half in this league. And he's very nice on the ball, and he's very smart, and he does what he can. But is he going to be the player that brings you closer to the likes of City's, Liverpool's, Arsenal's, etc.? No, right, in the long term. For me, he might be a good squad player, but is he the player that actually elevates your club? So I'm looking at a lot of the signings they've made, and they all come from Holland. They're all players he knows, and yeah, it just stinks, and it stinks bad, bro. Like, and you know what? Yeah, it's embarrassing because you to allow Tottenham to come to your home turf, and dominate you, with all the injuries, with all the players away on international. I mean, players in Asia, players in Africa, doing up both competitions, like to have that second choice midfield and a second string of attackers come to your turf and kick ball like this is my ground. Is that
man,
again?
Timo came and got an assist as well,
I know. He's poor. Timo's poor. If we move on to
Anthony, bro,
he is poor. That pace. If he couldn't run, he wouldn't be a footballer.
Oh, 100%.
If he had no pace, if you see the moment that he loses that pace, retire.
Yeah, he's one injury away from.
Yeah, but you know what they say, innit? If my grandma had a wheel, she'd be a bike, innit? So it's one of them ones, innit?
He's working with something that ain't gonna last forever. That wheel will last forever.
Bro, you know what? I always rate the players that ain't as good that make it somehow. You got to respect it because you had less talent. You're still.
Let's touch on Spurs, Chinny. What are the positives you're taking out of that game?
Spurs had nothing. Actually, that's a lie. They have a lot of positives. Obviously, they've been.
He's getting ready
I
to
was gonna
say,
say, like, injury
No,
shut
no,
team.
I was going to say they have nothing but positives, but I can think of some negatives. But they had obviously their centre back pairing back after a long time. Van der Ven's been out, Romero's been suspended and injured, and so they've been messing both of them and been playing fullbacks across the line. So to have them two back was really good. I don't think they defended amazingly well, but obviously when you've missed that much football, it's kind of to be expected. You're going to Old Trafford, you are going to be put under some pressure, and that's just inevitable. But I do think that having their back four back together is a massive plus for them. And the way they started playing out the back, I think it was the Benton Core goal where they passed it around the back in the box, and then Romero has sprayed the ball literally through the middle of the park and taken out the whole of United's attacking midfield. And now it's just Tottenham's attacking players against United's back four. And that's the kind of risk-reward situation that Ange's got them playing. And it looked impressive still. I watched it. I kind of watched it thinking, could Tottenham break a team like City and Arsenal or Liverpool down with that kind of simple one pass? And I'm not 100% sure that all the other teams are as easy to break down as what Man United
like that.
But it was impressive. You break down what's in front of you.
Right. I think Ericsson broke the press in that moment, to be fair. But you can only do what you can do with whoever's in front of you, right? If someone, breaks the structure of the press and doesn't press properly, then it's up to you to exploit it.
And I think Brennan Johnson, he kind of reminds me of Theo Walcott, man. Like, he's got that pace, and it's a.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Theo Walcott had finishing, bro. Theo Walcott had finishing the least.
He's just not doing enough. The amount of times he was in is unbelievable. The amount of ball that he had on that side and space, and he just doesn't. Like, sometimes he doesn't know when to give it to Pedro Porro on the overlap. Sometimes
that's one of those games that when they signed him, one of the things I said he needs to work on is his
I'm not sure
decision making and quicker.
Yeah, if he's there right now, but obviously he offers that frightening pace, which is always scary. And
I think he'll get this, especially under a manager like Ant. I think he'll get this.
I think Richarlison had a decent game. Dropping in, receiving the ball at some points, laying it off, knowing when to turn around when he has space. And he obviously always works hard. That's one good point about him. And obviously he got a goal from a set piece, which he's always dangerous from. So I think he had a good game, and Werner caused problems. So their front three was a bit manic. Like, there's not really any quality that Spurs played in their top three, and for that still to cause a massive issue here is like they are doing some. Like, you add pieces of quality like Son back to that, Kulusevski, that are better in them situations to actually finish their move. Like, they're more composed and will make the right decisions. Then it gets a bit scary. It does get a bit scary to their attacking line. And I know Mr. Y was talking about their attacking line a few weeks ago, like comparing it to Arsenal's and so forth. But it did look scary against United. I need to see them against another team, but that was the positives. The negatives are that you go to United and you control a game like that and you don't win. I know that you can do that when you go to Old Trafford because they do it quite often, like beat a team or come away with something without playing well. But the same rules that I apply for my own team. If my team play well and we don't win, we draw or lose, then it sucks, isn't it? It's a lot. You went there to OT, played a sick game with the limited squad that you had. You should have won. Should have won the game. So I think that's just my only negative. They will feel and know that they probably should have won the game. There's not much better time to beat Man United than right now.
Maybe bloody didn't at Anfield. So, but moving on to the next topic.
Can I touch on a few things on Tottenham before we move on to the next subject?
This is the second favourite team.
No, not even second, bro. But listen. You know what I mean? We're footballing people. I'm saying to you, I've got to keep it 100, man. I think, like, I hate to wax lyrical about them, but I think Ange deserves huge credit. Because when you look at that starting 11, when you look at the players they're missing, the likes of Basuma, the likes of Kulusevski, Madison, Saar, right? When you look at the amount of players that are missing in that squad, and to go to Old Trafford, but not just get a point and dominate, deserves credit. Like, I completely disagree with what you're saying, Chini, because I don't think their aim is to win a league title, right? Especially when you consider what the expectations for them were at the beginning of the season. So I don't group them with the likes of us, Liverpool, and City, because they shouldn't be in that conversation to begin with, right? So
you do have to, as you get better, you know, like there's points where it's like, okay, you've got to go to these places or play against these big teams and win. You're a big team. You've got to start beating big teams.
But for me, again, look, let me going back to the point I'm trying to make is, for me, it's not about me saying they don't need to go to these grounds and win, but it's to say their squad is decimated right now, right? They've got injuries galore. They've got players away on international duty, and despite that, you go away to Old Trafford, which, you know, no matter how rubbish they are, right, it can always be a tricky place to go, right? Because United are a massive team. There's no mistake in that. So for you to go with all those injuries and get a point, if Arsenal had that amount of injuries and went to United and got a point, right, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm not going to praise it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, you know, it's poor because we didn't win. I'd be like, man, we should have won, but that's still a solid point, because when you're trying to get top four in particular, you just need to keep racking along them points. That's what you need. You see a steady flow of points, right? Because you don't need the same consistency as a title race where you need 3 points all the time. You just need to get points on that board and get you closer to that 70 point, as close as you can to that 70 points market, because that would almost guarantee top four, right? And, you know, like, and it's the complete opposite of what we were talking about at Tottenham to what there is at, you know, at United. Because, you know, I know on Twitter in the modern day football, like, there's all these buzzwords like identity, philosophy, but these are things that we're already seeing in 6 months at Tottenham that we ain't seeing at United. It's a complete contrast between the two, right? And it's to the point now where when you watch Spurs, there's an expectancy that they're going to bring certain things to each and every game, regardless of who and who isn't playing, right? And they're doing this. They're building out with the back like this against City with the likes of Emerson, Royale, and Davies at the back, and then they're doing it in midfield with, you know, Højbjerg and Skip, right? So it just shows, isn't it? Like, you know, like these players, right? Regardless whether it's their best players or the substandard ones, they all know their roles. They all have patterns. They know about the rotations. They know how to get out tough situations when pressed. They know how, you know, they know what the solution is, right? And regardless of any errors, they keep on playing football that exact same way, right? And I would say that would be impressive to do that in 6 months with your first team players, because we didn't see that with Ten Hag for the entire season at United, right? But to do that with even the shit players, the players that we laugh about, yeah, right? That makes it, for me, that deserves like immense praise. And one of the biggest compliments I can give Ange is like, when we talk about like the best coaches, and I mean like Ferguson's, you talk about the Peps or the Klopps, one of the things that they've all been like praised for is being able to get the best out of the players that you don't really rate. You know, the ones that you know what I mean, the squad players I think are trash. You know what I'm trying to say to you. And United have all had a bunch of those, right? Klopp's doing it even now. Klopp's doing it now with that right back. Who's your right back you've got? Who's coming for Trent the other day? Looks decent.
One of our kids kind of break, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say to you, the players that you don't know, the players that you don't rate, they're able to get a tune out of them and be able to deliver performances, right? I'm not saying, before Chinny thing, I'm not saying he's an elite coach. I'm just saying, as a trait that I've seen this season, which deserves credit, is to be able to use your squad and have them deliver, even when you know that they ain't at the level. So to have these bums balling deserves credit, innit? So, you know what I mean? And even like the likes of like the players improved, Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro has a bit of a similar arc to Trent in a way, because they have the same criticisms all the time. I'm not saying there's the same player, by the way, Trent's levels, but I'm just saying to you, both players that are better attacking wise, both said that they can't defend, but we've seen them this season look a lot solid defensively because of structure. We've seen them excel more because Pedro Porro has been given, like Trent, the ability to come into midfield, have the freedom, You know what I mean? Drive through the centre of the pitch, kick passes out. So there's a lot going with them. And for me right now, based on just performances alone, I would say that they are probably my favourites for top 4 outside of City and Liverpool. Because if I'm to be objective and remove my Arsenal hat from it, if I evaluate their performances over, was it 19 games so far? Is it 19 we played or 20?
20.
20 over the 20 games so far. I would say they have had more better performances over those 20 games than I would say Aston Villa. When you also kind of like factor in that they've been crippled with injuries, and I don't think their injury crisis is ever going to get as bad as it was a few months ago when they should have really dropped points. And on top of that, they signed Dragusin, who's a talented centre back from Italy. We brought in the likes of Werner, who, all right, not the greatest, but he just adds some depth, numbers, experience into that squad. Yeah, it's, you know what I mean? Low risk. It's not, it's not a bad, they're looking in a good way for that.
I definitely agree there. I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I agree. I think both arguments not arguments, both opinions sit on this can exist where they have done a good, you have to celebrate them for a good job. But I also feel like I do understand where Chini's coming from when he's saying we're judging them on a different scale to where we are now. You're just like, we have to still praise them. But I'm going to move on to our last topic.
Do you feel like they should be judged on our scale? Right, this season, first season, 6 months in for a manager.
I'm judging it by the scale of where their season's meant to go. I'm judging it based on the game. And the game that they played, they should have won.
Yeah.
That's not that they should go to United or Anfield and win. That game that they played against United, against that United team and the way they played, they should have won the game.
Oh, they should have. But when you apply context and the injuries that they think, a draw is still a fantastic result. A win would be a win is a great result. To do that with injuries is a great result. To get a draw at Old Trafford and keep you still moving towards the top 4 with Madison and all them players to come back, that's still a very good result.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they would be kicking themselves if they didn't win, but they would take the draw. They would probably take the draw heading into it. But we'll move on to our last topic, which is a Nervy Chelsea win. Chini, what are you thinking about that, about the Chelsea performance? Knowing full well that they lost to Middlesbrough, they didn't play the best. I know Fulham was feeling themselves.
It wasn't a good performance, man. It was a Chelsea performance. It was a Chelsea performance that they've been doing a lot this year, more or less every other game. But the big factor of Chelsea right now is that Cole Palmer is forcing the game for them, and they can come up with something in the game that they can produce a goal from. Because when he doesn't play, they look very, very, very average. Bang, good defensively, midfield, and for spending the amount of money that they spent to look that bang average is crazy. Like what Mr. White just said about patterns of play and implementing your style and players. For Pochettino, he has young, fresh minds to do with, ballers, players that have grown up through academies, probably wanting to play ball. Not the older players like Højbjerg. He has players that are ball players, and what they're doing is just bang average. I can think of some teams below them that play better football than them. But
they were all the Wonder Kids, don't they? All the FM Wonder Kids.
They come out with a win. And I think Cole Palmer is a major influence on that. I do like when he plays with Sterling. I think they have a good link-up understanding of each other's movement. But without Cole Palmer threading the balls, he goes wide, he comes deep to get it, he floats around side to side, and he makes them tick for me. But it was, Fulham had some chances. It was quite a boring game, if I'm honest. But,
I felt sorry for my cousins. They flew over from America and they went to that game hospitality. I was like, I don't think it's going to be a great game to go to, but they went and they were like, yeah, it was all right. It's fun to see. But I was like, that was such a boring game. But over to you, Mr. White. We're going to share your thoughts before we wrap up.
Yeah, you know what, man? Man, that's second what Chini was saying. Like Cole Palmer is literally the catalyst of that team, right? And that's quite embarrassing for the likes of Raheem Sterling, more experienced players in that team, because he shouldn't be the one he shouldn't be the hub of that team in his first full season of playing, men's top flight football. And he's come into that team and he's literally said, this is my team, right? And it feels like if he don't rise, no one else does, right? And when we watch, even it was his reverse ball that found Sterling. I know Sterling got the penalty, but without that pass, that's it, man. And then obviously he steps up and he dispatches it nicely. And yeah, like when he doesn't, like Middlesbrough, we saw about a week and a half ago, when he doesn't deliver, it feels like no one else does. So it's literally his team.
It's a bold move he did, though. Like the move, like it's like if you're not going to play here, you can go if you feel like you're better and you ain't going to play. And he was like, all right, cool. I packed my bags, went Chelsea in a Chelsea that's like expectation.
I disagree with that. We say it's a bold move, yeah.
I mean, it's the right move, but a lot of people shy from those.
But a lot of youngsters these days, yeah, like the Jadon Sanchos, they move from one, like a bigger club to a lesser club for the game time, and that's what he's done, isn't it? He moved from a bigger club in City to a lesser club in Chelsea to go play and actually exposure to first team football at a rate. Like, I don't think it was a difficult decision, and Chelsea's also big enough where it's not like you're kicking ball at, with no disrespect, but to Luton or Burnley, one of them teams. Like you're kicking ball from Chelsea, but you're going to have the type of exposure that you might get at a Burnley and a Norwich in terms of like that repetitive minutes. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So I think if anything, it was actually probably the most logical thing, because you go to a big club and you get more exposure than you ever will traditionally at a big club. Where would Cole Palmer go in, out apart from City? Where would Cole Palmer leave City and go to a big club in England and get, and be expected to play week in, week out? He wouldn't get at Arsenal. He wouldn't get at Liverpool.
I don't think he would have got at Chelsea back.
No, you'd have to drop down to Aston Villa.
Yeah, if this was 2 seasons ago, I don't think even Chelsea would have given him.
You'd have to drop it down a bit further to do that.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say to you. So it's like right now, Chelsea.
When he did move, did you think that he was going to start every game?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought he'd play a majority of games. Yeah, I thought he'd be a big part.
I was looking at their team, so they have Nkunku, who obviously is not a 9, he's a 10. But because of their lack of firepower at 9, Nkunku might go up top majority of the time because of how Cole Palmer's playing. But when I looked at the start of the season, I saw Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia. That could be a midfield three. I saw Caicedo, Enzo, and Nkunku playing the 10. I didn't, and then I saw Mudryk, Sterling, Madiaki. I saw these players that are playing right now. I don't really know where their space is for you, because if Nkunku's fit, where do you fit in?
Well, to be fair, I thought he'd get game time regardless, because of what their whole, their kindergarten FC, Operation Youth, look after the kids. I'm trying to say to you, help them grow. So I knew he'd get game time, right? So that was never really a thing. Whether it be, I didn't know he'd be a cam. That was probably more of a, play more of an attacking midfielder role. That's probably the more surprising aspect of his move. But in terms of minutes, I mean, he's come from Man City's youth academy, and the way they are in the youth academy and how successful they are, I think it was a given that he was going to get a lot of minutes, and he's obviously got a lot of talent. But just to touch on a few things on Chelsea, I thought they were quite lucky, man, with Gusto, because I thought Gusto should have been sent off. I thought that was a red earlier.
100%.
Yeah, I thought that was a red. I thought I've been slightly impressed. Not to say that I'd want him as a keeper. Let me just think. But I thought Petrovic has been better than Sanchez has been so far, the goalkeeper. I think he's been more commanding. And I don't look at him and see as much of a bozo as Sanchez.
You know how it goes. We don't do the black goalkeeper thing.
It's
very simple, bro. The black goalkeeper thing don't run.
And then obviously finishing still obviously a big issue. I think they created quite a bit of chances against Fulham and really should have, been a few goals up. But at the same time, you also see the naivety of the squad, because they can't control a game. The game's in the bag and then all of a sudden they're allowing Fulham to attack. Fulham get a free kick, nearly score from the free kick, if I'm not mistaken. So you just see the naivety. And I think Poch is another manager who, to me, seems like he's going down a Ten Hag route where there is no real philosophy, patterns being established. And he's not getting the best out of his players. He's played players in wrong positions. I mean, Caicedo doesn't look like the play that, everybody wanted in the summer, right? Because he's been asked to defend large pieces of space. He's using Enzo as an attacking midfielder. And Enzo really, everybody knows Enzo's best attribute was passing from deep. So why you got him running into the box like he's got legs for that? I'm trying to say to you, it's just there's lots of little things that I'm seeing with Poch's management and his coaching, which makes you scratch your head. So it's a good win.
From the start, to be fair.
Mourinho's free now, isn't it? Mourinho's free. You never know where he might end up.
And Mourinho doesn't say feed the kid. Mourinho says fuck the kid. So they want to go down to Chelsea. If they want to go down, bring Mourinho down, that's cool. I think that will go down. That'll go down faster than Titanic. So that's up to them, boy. But it's not looking good so far at Chelsea, man. And I think a lot of that's on Pochettino. And if he does lose to Middlesbrough, Christmas would have come early, boy, because them fans will revolt.
He ain't able to live that down. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for free.
And he has a Spurs connection as well, so that's not helping either.
Is there any final words you guys want to add before we wrap this show up?
Right. No, man. I enjoyed this week, bro. It's been nice, bro. You know,
just relaxing, isn't it? I thought football's on side. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not playing for another week. So I said, that's great.
I mean, other than the fact KDB came back and it's got everybody, let's put the whole league on notice. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
I'm back.
Yeah, boy. So, but shout out to him, man. You know what I mean? New trim, new man. You know what I'm saying? He's looking like he's, you know what I mean? He's finally got some confidence in himself as a human being. Boy. A man come with a new trim and you know what I mean? He's trying to stun on them. Man's got the head and shoulders.
As per, I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, comment, get involved. You know, anything else you want to discuss, comment. We're always watching the comments and stuff like that as well. I want to thank Mr. Y and Chidi, my co-hosts. I just want to say thank you to everyone watching. Just always remember, like, subscribe, and you always see us. We're a weekly team. We do this weekly.
Hit us everywhere, man. Insta, Twitter, YouTube. Hit us.
We're also on the old TikTok. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna say thank you again, and we'll see you same time next week.
Peace.